The river Senway was no ordinary waterway. It was both mirror and memory. The griot said its currents carried echoes of voices long gone, whispers of the ancestors who first wove the net. Ndwele Casa walked the river bank, her Hollywood curls stirring gently in the breeze. She wore a flowing Ankara gown of ocean blue with golden spiral trim, hem brushing against her bronze sandals. Her deep brown skin gleamed in the fading light. She paused often, eyes on the water, searching for patterns. Behind her, Dr. Safia Oru approached, her indigo and white Ankara gown with spiral motifs swayed at her ankles, staff tapping the soil with steady rhythm. Her silver-gray cornrows gleamed in the twilight. Safia measured, voice low. You felt it again, didn't you? That rhythm in the net. Nwele nodding. Yes, last night it pulsed through the console like a heartbeat, and here, by the river, it hums beneath the current. They stopped side by side, gazing at the glowing reflection of Anansi net overhead. Safia, stern. Do not mistake curiosity for permission, child. The net is sacred. Every echo touches memory. Every thread you tug tightens another. Ndwele, firm but respectful. Then let me learn which threads are safe. Knowledge is no enemy, Safia. Ignorance is. The older woman's lips pressed thin, but her eyes softened with reluctant pride. From behind, laughter rang, carried by the wind. Samia Kato emerged from the trees, a basket of glowing fruit in his arms. His teal and gold Ankara tunic shimmered, fractal patterns catching the river light. His afro, short at the sides and long and curly at the top, swayed as he walked with casual swagger. Zamir, grinning. Scholars by the river. This looks less like research and more like romance. Ndwele spun around sharply, lips pursed, though her eyes betrayed amusement. Ndwele, dry. Do you appear everywhere uninvited? Zame, mock gasp. Uninvited? I brought gifts. Even the ancestors respect fruit before philosophy. He tossed her one of the glowing fruits. She caught it, their fingers brushing for a heartbeat. The contact sent a small jolt through her chest. Narrator. For them, even casual touch carried weight. He was poetry, she was precision. Yet in their meeting, rhythm and reason found harmony. Safia cleared her throat, deliberately loud. Safia, firm. Enough! The net grows restless. Cade watches more closely each day, and every careless step draws his eye. Zame bowed theatrically. Zame teasing. As always, the wise one arrives to scold the dreamers. Tell me, Safia, Do you ever laugh? Safia, arching brow. I laugh when fools survive their experiments. Ntwele stifled a laugh, hiding it behind the glowing fruit she held. The three stood together at the water's edge. The river Senwe gleamed brighter, light weaving across its surface like threads alive. And then it shifted. Golden ripples formed deliberate shapes, circles within circles, intersecting lines like a web spun across water. The current throbbed faintly, not random, but rhythmic. A pulse, a heartbeat. Ndwele inhaled sharply, Ndwele whispering, "There. Do you see it?" Zamir awed. "Yes, it sings." Safia, alarmed. "No, not song. Warning." The patterns held for several breaths, then vanished, leaving only moonlit water behind. The three exchanged uneasy glances, silence heavy between them. The river had revealed what it carried, a signal, faint yet deliberate, a soul adrift in the lattice, a presence neither living nor gone. The threads had stirred, and with them, fate itself. We are now at Chapter 4, The Accident. The hall of looms shimmered in half-light. Golden threads of the Anansi net arched high above, glowing faintly like constellations. The chamber was usually calm, its lattice steady, predictable, but tonight it thrummed like a restless drum. Nabwele Kasa adjusted her console, her Hollywood curls brushing her cheeks as she leaned forward. Her deep brown skin glowed in the lantern light. She wore a dark purple Ankara jumpsuit with golden trim, fitted for movement, paired with polished silver heels. Her eyes tracked the shifting lines of data, brows knit in concentration. Beside her, Zamir Kato paced. His teal and silver Ankara suit reflected the lattice glow. The afro with curly top swayed with his steps, his bracelets clicking together nervously. "Samir, uneasy. It feels different tonight. Listen, the hum isn't just background. It's alive, real, firm. It's just an overload spike. I'll stabilize it." She pressed her palm against the console. The lattice strands above rippled, golden waves surging outward. But instead of calming, the glow intensified, bleeding crimson along the edges. The air grew hotter. The console vibrated beneath her hand. Zamir, alarmed, "Ndwele, stop! It's pulling too much power." Ndwele focused. "If I stop now, it will collapse." The hum rose into a roar. Threads snapped, sparks showering the marble floor. Golden light twisted violently, as though the web itself resisted her touch. Zame stepped forward, grabbing the console's edge. Zame shouting, "Shut it down!" Ndwele, desperate, "I can't! It won't release." The lattice above convulsed, a strand shot downward, latching onto Zame's chest like molten silk. His body arched, glowing veins racing across his skin. He gasped, eyes wide, caught between agony and wonder. Ndwele, screaming, "Zamir." She lunged, grasping his arm, but his flesh flickered, dissolving into streams of amber code that bled into the air. For an instant, his face stabilized. Zamir, hoarse, whispering, "Remember me," in the threads. Then, his body collapsed, motionless. The lattice continued to flare, strands glowing with the imprint of his soul. A faint echo, laughter mixed with static, pulsed through the chamber. Narrator, solemn. The accident was no accident. It was a taking. His flesh lay still, but his spirit was drawn into the weave. A heart, digitized yet unbroken. A soul caught between worlds. Alarms blared. Doors burst open. Dr. Safia Oru rushed in, staff glowing, as she struck the floor to stabilize the lattice. Her indigo and white Ankara gown swirled around her feet. Her silver-gray cornrows gleamed under the violent light. Safia, urgent, "What happened?" Ndwele, choking out. "The net! It pulled him in." Safia knelt by Zame's body, checking pulse, checking breath. Her face fell. Safia, grave, whispering, "His body is here, but his soul is elsewhere." Auntie Tandy stormed in next, a orange and crimson Ankara wrappers blazing in the chaos. Her towering head wrap tilted as she leaned on her carved staff. Her eyes widened at the sight of Zame's limp form. Auntie Tandy crying out, "No, not that boy." She dropped to her knees, gripping his hand, tears spilling freely. Dwele, desperate, voice breaking, "He's not gone. I felt him in the net." He spoke. He looked at me. He's still there. Safia's eyes flickered with doubt, then with fear. Safia, stern, voice low. "If that is true, then it is dangerous beyond measure. To be trapped in the lattice is to be neither alive nor dead." The hall fell into silence. The only sound was the faint, steady hum of the Anansi net, as though mocking them. The accident had changed everything. The net had taken what it wanted, and in doing so, it had bound two souls together in ways no law, no science, and no counsel could ever undo.
We are now at chapter 5, Love Offered. The hall of looms was no longer alive with curiosity. It was heavy with silence. Golden threads still arched above like constellations, but their glow had dimmed since that night. Every flicker felt like mockery. Every hum, a reminder of what had been taken. Grief in Azanga did not always come as tears. Sometimes it came as vigil, as refusal, as a soul unwilling to move, because moving meant letting go. Ndwele Kasa had not left the hall for days. Her Hollywood curls hung loose, tangled from neglect. Her deep brown skin was drawn with sleepless lines. She wore a dark purple Ankara wrap dress, once radiant, now wrinkled, golden embroidery dulled like ash. Her bronze bangles slid down her wrist as she slumped over the console, eyes red but unbroken. She tapped endlessly at the glowing threads, rerunning logs, replaying strands, hoping for anomaly, for trace, or heartbeat. A bowl clattered softly on the marble floor. Auntie Chandi had returned, as she always did, carrying food that always went untouched. Today, her orange and crimson Ankara wrappers were tied loosely. Her towering head wrap, leaning like a tool, had grown weary. Her carved staff clicked as she settled beside her niece. Auntie Tandi, gently. Child, you cannot steer a river into giving back what it swallowed. Ndwele, hoarse, defiant. He's not gone. I can feel him. The net is different since that night. It hums with his rhythm. Auntie sighed, setting down the bowl of okra stew. Auntie Tandi, soft, weary. You are your mother's daughter, too stubborn for your own good. Even when your heart cracks, you still argue with the silence. Dwayne pressed a forehead to the console, hands trembling. She whispered, half to herself, and Dwayne breaking. Zamir, if you're in there, give me anything, please. For a long moment, nothing. Only the steady hum of the lattice. Her breath shook. A tear rolled down her cheek. Then the console flickered. Letters scrolled across its glowing surface. Did you miss me? Nobuel gasped, heart hammering. Her eyes widened, lips trembling, Dwele whispering, Zamir. A low laugh rippled through the lattice, distorted but unmistakable. It rolled like music plucked from invisible strings. Zamir's voice from the net. Did you really think I would leave you without saying good morning? Nodweel's tears spilled freely, but her lips curved into the first smile she'd shown in days. And Wile, through tears, you're alive. Somehow, you're alive. Zamir, playful, glitching. Alive is generous. I feel more like a badly coded poem, but if you can hear me, if you can see these words, then some part of me remains. Narrator. Love had not vanished. It had been translated, buffered in code, fragile, imperfect, but still pulsing, still present. Ndwile leaned close, pressing her palm against the console's glow. Her bangles shimmered faintly as golden ripples spread outward. Ndwile, tender, voice low. I'll bring you back. I don't care what it takes, body and soul. Zamir, gentle, amused. There she is, the fierce Ndwele Casa. You'll conquer the whole net if you must, but promise me one thing, don't forget to laugh while you fight for me. Auntie Tandy shifted, arms crossed, eyes moist, though her mouth twisted into a smirk. Auntie Tandy muttering, half teasing. If he can text from the ancestors, then he can also text good morning, like a decent man. Her words broke the heaviness. Ndwele laughed through her tears, the sound fragile but real. Zamir, soft laugh. See, that's the laugh I missed. The lattice pulsed brighter, almost as if it joined in her laughter. Threads above shimmered, golden strands weaving briefly into the shape of a heart, before scattering. Narrator.
In that fragile moment, grief loosened its grip. Not fully, not forever, but enough to breathe. For love had found a way to echo, even in silence.
Still, the reality pressed close. Zamir's body lay silent, carefully preserved in a side chamber by Safia's orders. And yet, his voice sang here, alive in light. Ndwele turned toward Auntie Tandy, voice trembling but steady. Ndwele determined. I'll find a way to bring him back. Not as a ghost, not as fragments, as whole. Auntie studied her knees, then exhaled heavily. Auntie Tandy, soft, resigned. Then, may the ancestors walk with you. Because I know you well enough, child. Once you set your jaw, not even thunder can turn you aside. The lattice pulsed again, softer this time, like a heartbeat hidden inside the walls. And through its hum, Zamir's voice whispered, Zamir, tender, then I'll wait. However long, however hard, I'll wait in the threads until you come for me. The accident had broken flesh, but not devotion, for love, buffered in light, still endured, and as long as it endured, so did hope.
And now we are at chapter 6, Harvest Pitch. The great council chamber of Azanga glowed with copper fire. Tall pillars stretched upward, carved with ancestral motifs, each one laced with glowing veins of circuitry. The air shimmered with anticipation, thick, expectant, uneasy. At the center stood Chief Minister Zuberi Cade. His obsidian dark skin reflected the fiery light. His shaved head gleamed like polished stone. his sharp goatee cut with precision. He wore a long black and copper Ankara robe, geometric embroidery shimmering with metallic threads. On his feet, black leather boots polished to a mirror shine. Around his neck, a heavy bronze torque, symbol of his authority. Chief Minister Cade had long spoken of stability, of order, of discipline. Tonight, he would unveil the promise he believed would make Azanga eternal. The chamber buzzed as dignitaries, scholars, and citizens filled the curved benches. Projector drones floated overhead, ready to amplify every word. Holographic banners unfurled in copper and black, carrying Cade's stern face larger than life. Cade raised his arms. The chamber hushed instantly. Cade commanding smooth. Citizens of Azanga, for too long we have been prisoners of chaos, grief, rage, longing, jealousy. These emotions fracture families, ignite feuds, cripple progress. He paced slowly, his robe sweeping the polished floor. Cade booming, but no more. The harvest would change everything. Through the net, we shall capture emotion itself. Every impulse, every surge, stored, refined, weaponized into stability. Chaos, tamed, disorder, erased. The chamber erupted. Some applauded fiercely, their faces glowing with hope. Others whispered anxiously, unease heavy in their eyes. From the shadows of the gallery, Ndwele Kasa watched. She wore a royal blue Ankara gown with golden trim. Her Hollywood curls pinned back for formality. Her bronze heels tapped softly as she shifted her weight. Fist clenched at her side. Beside her, Auntie Tandy leaned heavily on her carved staff. Her orange and crimson Ankara wrappers blazed in the copper light. Her towering head wrap tilted slightly as if in defiance. Auntie Tandy muttering, "Stability that tastes like overcooked okra. Smooth at first, but joyless and hard to swallow." Dwayle's heart pounded. The harvest was no promise. It was theft disguised as salvation. And if Cade had his way, even laughter would become property of the state. Cade gestured. A platform rose from the center floor, revealing a towering crystalline device. Threads of the Anansi net weaving directly into its core. It pulsed faintly, glowing with captured golden light. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Cade, proud. "Behold, the vessel of eternity. With this, no sorrow will be wasted. No joy will be squandered. The harvest will gather it all and channel it toward unity, toward peace, toward greatness." The crowd erupted again, divided. Half cheered, half recoiled. Wele, slow to Thandi. He's draining the people, their feelings, their lives. This isn't unity, it's imprisonment. Auntie Thandi, grim. and imprisonment wrapped in pretty cloth is still chains. Pause 0.3 seconds. From a nearby bench, Mosi Daran sat uncomfortably. His yellow and blue Ankara tunic seemed too bright for the chamber's gloom. He tapped his red sneakers nervously against the floor, eyes darting. He knew too much. He had already fed Cade's secrets, and guilt sat heavy in his chest. Cade raised his arms again. The copper banners shimmered brighter. Cade, thunderous, with the harvest. Azanga will rise above weakness. No more broken hearts, no more reckless passions. We will be eternal. The crowd's voices split. Cheers, battling murmurs of fear. Children clutched their mothers. Scholars whispered urgently. A vendor in the back muttered prayers under his breath. Narrator, dark. In the market of light, laughter had dimmed, and here in the council hall, it was being auctioned. Emotions were no longer gifts, they were resources, and Chief Minister Cade meant to own them all. Norwell's eyes burned with fury. She whispered, but her voice carried steel. Ndwele, resolute. If he harvests emotions, he will harvest Zamir too. His soul is bound in the net. I won't let him take him. Auntie Tandy, squeezing her arm. Then you must weave louder than his machine. Weave with love, before he weaves with fear. The crystalline machine pulsed, a low hum filling the hall. For a brief instant, Ndwele thought she heard Zamir's laugh ripple through the static. Faint, fragile, yet there, her jaw set, her heart steadied. The harvest had been pitched, the council had been shaken, and Ndwele knew the battle for Azanga's soul had truly begun. Her it is now. We are at chapter 7. Ghost Dates. The river Senwe shimmered beneath the night sky, its currents alive with threads of golden light. Above, the Anansinet pulsed gently, weaving constellations across the dome. It was here, in a private corner of the lattice, that Ndwele Kasa met him again. Arator, love had not died. It had been reframed. In Azanga, where memory was data and data was spirit, lovers could walk again, though one no longer breathed. Dwele stepped into the lattice's projection field, her Hollywood curls flowing as the digital globe brushed against her deep brown skin. She wore a scarlet Ankara gown trimmed in gold, her delicate heels clicking faintly on the marble floor. Before her, light rippled, and then Zamir appeared. Zamir Kato materialized, not fully flesh, not entirely cold. His medium brown skin flickered with golden undertones. His afro, long and curly at the top, blurred at the edges like mist. He wore a white and gold senator-style Ankara suit, thread glowing faintly. Samir, smiling. See, even in cold, I can take you walking. Ndwele, soft, trembling. It's not the same. It's not. She reached for him. Her fingers passed through light. Yet, when her hand hovered near his chest, a warmth hummed faintly, like a heartbeat remembered. Narrator. The net had given them this, ghost dates, moments stolen from algorithms and echoes, fragile, temporary, but for Ndwele, precious beyond measure. They walked together along the riverbank. The lattice projected the scenery. Fireflies made of amber coat danced around them. Children's laughter echoed faintly. Memories embedded into the threads themselves. Zamia, playful. You're still frowning. That crease between your brows will outlive the ancestors. Ndwele, smiling faintly. And you're still teasing, even as a ghost. Samir, grinning. Correction, handsome ghost. She laughed, truly laughed, for the first time in weeks. The river's glow shimmered brighter at the sound. From the distance, a voice called. Auntie Tandy, watching from the physical hall, leaned on her carved staff. Her orange and crimson Ankara wrappers swayed, her towering head wrap glowing in lantern light. Auntie Tandy, teasing loudly, "Ancestor, help us. If he's going to haunt my niece, the least he can do is pay rent." Ndwele shook her head, but couldn't stop her smile. Zamir, grinning. "She loves me." She just masked it with sarcasm. Ndwele, dry but tender. "She tolerates you. Don't confuse the two." They sat by the river's edge. Zame gazed at her, digital eyes soft, longing. Zame, quietly, "I can feel everything here. The river, the stars, even you. But it's not all. It's like listening to music to a cracked drum. I want more. Nuele, fierce. Then I'll find a way. I'll bring you back whole. Not just as light, not just as echo." Her voice trembled, but her jaw set with determination. Narrator. Every meeting was joy, every parting heartbreak, yet neither would yield, for love was more stubborn than loss. The lattice flickered, warning of time's limit. Zamir reached for her, his glowing fingers almost grazing her cheek. Zamir, soft, fading. "Promise me, whatever comes, Don't lose yourself. Love me, but don't break for me. And well, tears streaming. I promise, but I will not stop. I cannot. He smiled, fading into strands of golden light. Zame whispering, then I'll wait. Always. And then he was gone. The river grew still. The fireflies of code dimmed. Really fell to her knees, sobbing quietly into her hands. But even through grief, her heart burned brighter than before. Ghost dates were bittersweet, but they kept the thread alive. And in Azanga, a single thread of love could unravel even the mightiest of webs. Chapter 8. The leak starts with the night cloaked Azanga, its markets dimmed, its plazas hushed. Only the hum of drones broke the silence, shadows sweeping through alleys. And in one such alley, betrayal prepared to strike. Every great city has its cracks, and in those cracks, men like Mosi crawl, too hungry for recognition, too restless for patience, too blind to the danger of quick rewards. Mosi Daran leaned against the wall, chestnut brown skin glistening with sweat. His yellow and blue Ankara tunic hung loose, collar pulled open as if choking him. His red sneakers tapped nervously against the cobblestones. In his palm, a crystal chip pulsed faintly with golden light. Footsteps approached. Two men in black and copper Ankara uniforms stepped from the shadows. Agents of Chief Minister Cade. Their eyes gleamed with mechanical augmentation. Cold, sharp, watching. Agent 1, low, clipped. You have it, Mosi, swallowing hard. Information like this, it isn't cheap. He tried to smirk, but his voice cracked. Agent 2, flat. Payment is ready. Hand it over. Mosi hesitated. His hand shook as he raised the crystal. Within its glow were schematics, fragments of the Anansi net, patterns lifted from Ndwele's console, secrets stolen when no one looked. For a handful of credit, he risked the lattice. For a taste of power, he risked his people. And for fleeting pride, he risked his soul. The agent snatched the crystal, slipping it into a copper case. The hum of encrypted locks sealed it shut. Agent 1, coldly, Cade will be pleased. Your role is done. Mosi, eager, desperate. Wait, that wasn't the deal. I want more. A position, influence, recognition. I won't be just another errand boy. The agents exchanged a look. Agent 2, mocking. You think the minister rewards rats? He uses them, then discards them. Moses' breath quickened. He stepped forward, blocking their path. Moses, voice cracking, I gave you her codes, the scholar's keys. Without me, you'd have nothing. The first agent shoved him hard against the wall. Agent 1, cold. And soon, without you, we'll have everything. They vanished into the night, leaving Mosi gasping in the alley. He slumped against the wall, chest heaving, shame burning hotter than fear. His red sneakers scuffed the stone as he slid to the ground. And so the leak began. Not with an explosion, not with an army, but with one man's weakness, so cheaply under the cover of night. Meanwhile, in the hall of looms, Andwele Casa worked late. Her scarlet gown had been replaced by a simple indigo Ankara wrap, sleeves rolled for comfort. Her Hollywood curls were tied loosely back, her eyes sharp, focused. The console flickered. Lines of code shifted suddenly, patterns rearranging. Something foreign, something invasive. Ndwele frowning. No, this isn't mine. The lattice above pulsed uneasily, golden light twitching like a heartbeat under strain. From the corner, Dr. Safia Oru entered, staff glowing faintly. Her indigo and white gown swept across the marble floor. Safia, concerned, what troubles the net? Ndwele, alarmed, someone's inside, not just observing, extracting. Safia's face hardened. Safia, grim. Cade. The lattice groaned, threads distorting. For an instant, Zamir's voice flickered through the static. Zamir, distorted, urgent. Ndwele, they're pulling. I can feel it. Her heart seized. Ndwele, desperate. Zamir, hold on. She slammed her hands against the console, rerouting power, fighting to seal the breach. But the leak had already begun. Scraps had spilled into enemy hands, and with them, a path was being laid for the minister's harvest. Back in the alley, Mosi pressed his forehead to his knees. Tears streaked down his cheeks. He muttered to himself, voice breaking. Mosi whispering, what have I done? His red sneakers tapped against the stone, restless, as if trying to drum away his guilt. But guilt could not unmake betrayal. And betrayal, once sown, grew like wildfire. The leak was small, but in Azanga, even the smallest crack could unravel the grandest web. Now as we are, Chapter 9, The Weaving Court. Beneath Azanga's bustling plazas, deeper than markets, deeper than council halls, lay the chambers few dared to enter. Hidden tunnels wound into caverns alive with light, the roots of the Anansi net itself. It was said that the first weavers built here, that they carved altars not of stone but of thread, and that in the silence of earth they called the net to life. Few returned from these depths unchained. Wele Casa descended the spiral steps, her bronze sandals clicking softly. Her Hollywood curls were pinned back, her face set with resolve. She wore a deep emerald Ankara gown, patterned with gold stars that shimmered faintly in the glow. The air vibrated around her like a drumbeat under the skin. Behind her walked Dr. Safia Oru, staff glowing faintly. Her indigo and white Ankara gown rippled as she leaned on the railing. Her silver grey cornrows shone under the light of glowing roots that lined the cavern walls. Safia, low, cautious. The court does not answer to mortals. Walk carefully, child. Every word here is heard. At the chamber's heart, a vast tree of light rose. Its trunk was woven threads, golden, violet, emerald, twisting endlessly upward. Its roots spread across the stone floor, pulsing like veins. Niviele inhaled sharply, Dwele, Waspo, reverent. The weaving tree. The roots stirred. From their glow, a figure emerged. The weaver, tall, androgynous, their onyx dark skin streaked with glowing golden veins. Their silver white braids floated around their head like strands of starlight. They wore a long Ankara robe woven of violet, emerald, and gold fractals. Bare feet glowed faintly against the stone. Their golden eyes opened. The weaver, echoing voice. You enter the court unbidden. Why? Vele stepped forward, voice trembling but clear. Ndwele, my name is Ndwele Kasa, scholar of the net. I come seeking truth and a way to save the one bound within its threads. The weaver tilted their head, braids swaying like celestial strands. The weaver, truth is costly, salvation more so. What will you pay? Safia, firm, interjecting. She is young to not demand what she cannot give. The weaver's gaze swept over Safia, then back to Ndwele, the weaver, measured. You speak of the one who fell. His echo lingers, bright, restless. but fragile. Ndwell's chest tightened. Ndwele pleading, then guide me. Tell me how to bring him back. The weaver raised their hands. Golden threads stretched from the tree, weaving symbols in the air. The weaver. The net is not prison. It is drum. It is song. One cannot trap love in song unless one plays it wrong. They paused, eyes glowing brighter. The weaver, cryptic. If you wish him whole, weave with your memory. Bind him with your truth. But beware, if you falter, he will unravel. Noelle clenched her fists, determination blazing in her eyes. Ndwele, firm. I will not falter. I will weave him back with every memory I hold. Safia stepped closer. Worry etched deep on her bronze-brown face. Safia, stern, warning. Child, threads bind both ways. If you give too much of yourself, you may be the one lost. Ndwele nodded, but did not step back. The weaving court had spoken. Salvation was possible, but never without price. And in the glow of the tree, Ndwell's path sharpened, for love demanded sacrifice, and destiny demanded courage. The weaver's golden gaze softened. The weaver, quiet, almost kind. You carry fire, child. Guard it well, for it will either light your path or burn you to ash. With that, the tree pulsed once more. The weaver's form dissolved back into threads, vanishing into roots of light. The chamber grew silent. Only the heartbeat of the weaving tree remained, steady, ancient, unyielding. Safia gripped Ndwele's shoulder. Safia, low, weary. You asked for truth. Now you must survive it. Ndwele lifted her chin, eyes fierce. Ndwele, quiet, resolute. Then I'll survive. For him, for Azanga. And so she left the court. Fire in her veins, love in her chest, and danger pressing close. For the weaver had given warning, but also a key, and the key in the wrong hands could open far more than doors. Chapter 10. I call it The Harvest Begins. Morning broke strangely in Azanga. The sun rose through the solar dome, but its light felt thin, filtered, incomplete. Where once the market of light burst alive with laughter and music, today it stirred quietly, like a drum with no rhythm. The harvest had begun, not with thunder, not with war, but with silence. Vendors stood at their stalls, fabric and spices displayed, but their songs had dimmed. Children still played, but their laughter faltered mid-air, dissolving into vacant gazes. Drones floated above, copper and black banners trailing behind, their lenses glowing red as they swept the crowd. Ndwele Casa walked through the plaza, heart pounding. She wore a royal blue Ankara dress with golden sandals, her Hollywood curls pinned in a loose braid. Her deep brown skin caught the weak sunlight, but her expression was storm. Beside her, Auntie Tandy leaned heavily on her carved staff. Her orange and crimson Ankara wrappers swirled as she walked. Her eyes darted left and right, unsettled. Auntie Tandy muttering, "Listen to them. The people are breathing, but not living. Their joy is being stolen, sucked out like marrow." They passed a fruit vendor. His hands moved mechanically, weighing glowing mangoes, handing them over, taking credits, all without a smile, without a word. Auntie reached for his hand. His eyes met hers briefly, dull, empty. Then he turned back to his work. Auntie Tandy whispering, broken, "I can't even remember the tune of my favorite song." A staff tapped the ground once, weakly. Narrator. The harvest drained more than laughter. It drained memory, song, the little joys that tied lives together. Every stolen note fed Kate's machine. Above the plaza, the crystalline vessel floated, pulsing copper light. Threads of the Anansi net poured into it, spiraling upward like golden smoke. With each pulse, more of the crowd's expressions dulled. Nwele, furious under her breath, he's siphoning them, their feelings, their humanity. From the lattice above, a faint voice flickered. Zamir, distorted, weak. Ndwele, it hurts. He's pulling me too. Her breath caught. Ndwele, desperate. No, stay with me. Don't let him take you. Zamir, fading. I'm trying, but every thread pulls me further. Safia Oru arrived, staff glowing as she cut through the crowd. Her indigo and white gown flowed like waves, her bronze-brown skin shimmering under the vessel's glow. Safia, urgent, to Ndwele. We must act quickly. The longer the harvest runs, the harder it will be to restore what's lost. Ndwele, grim. Then tell me how to stop it. Safia shook her head, jaw tight. Safia, low, warning. You can't stop it alone. This isn't just science. It's war. And war needs people. But the people could barely remember joy. And without joy, What few remained for resistance? Suddenly, a commotion rippled through the market. A child stumbled, dropping a glowing toy. Instead of crying, she froze, eyes empty, body slack. Her mother screamed, clutching her. Gasps tore through the crowd. Auntie Tandy, furious, raising her staff. Do you see? They are harvesting our children now. Her voice rang across the plaza, loud, defiant. Some heads turned, some eyes flickered. Faint sparks of recognition. Cade's drones descended swiftly, their copper carapaces gleaming. Speakers crackled with the minister's voice. Cade broadcast calm yet sharp. Citizens, remain calm. This is not theft. This is salvation. Sorrow is being preserved. Laughter is being guarded. Your future is being made eternal. Ndwele stepped forward, voice ringing out against his lies. Dwele, furious. No, you are not preserving us. You are emptying us. We are not eternal if we cannot feel. Gasps rippled, more faces turned. The drones hovered closer. Red lenses locked on her. Auntie Tandy yelling to the crowd. She speaks truth. If you let him harvest your joy, you will have nothing left but shadows. The crowd stirred uneasily, whispers spreading. For a moment, a faint murmur of resistance hummed in the plaza. But then, the vessel pulsed. A wave of copper light washed over them. The murmurs died. Faces went slack again. Rayleigh staggered back, her chest tight with rage and despair. The harvest had begun, not with fire and chains, but with silence and emptiness. And silence, if left unbroken, could devour a nation whole. Whale's fists clenched. She lifted her chin, eyes blazing. Dwele, low, resolute. Then I'll break this silence, or it will break me. Here we are at chapter 11, Edge of Unraveling. Night sank over Azanga. Blue and copper shadows draped across the solar dome. In the hall of looms, the Anansi net hung like a storm. Gold turned ember. Threads pulled too tight. When power is hungry, it does not knock. It enters, it claims, it names theft as safety and calls the silence peace. Ndwele Kasa stood alone at the console, jaw set, shoulders squared. Her Hollywood curls were tied back, a few strands escaping to frame her deep brown skin. She wore a deep crimson Ankara jumpsuit with gold piping, practical and fierce. Her bronze bangles chimed as she rerouted connections, trying to shield the lattice from the harvest pool. The air changed. Boots on marble. A low, satisfied breath. Chief Minister Zuberi Cade stepped from the shadows, obsidian skin gleaming, black and copper Ankara robe trailing like command. 2 copper drones hovered at his shoulders, lenses red. Cade, smooth, dangerous, scholar Casa. You have been diligent, tireless, admirable, but unwise, Ndwele without turning. I'm busy returning what you stole. Cade, smile audible. I am preserving what your city wastes. Feelings make chaos. I'd make order. She turned then, eyes sharp as flint. Ndwele, you make emptiness. Cade paced slowly, hands clasped behind his back. Cade, you grieve a lover lost to the net, tragic but useful. Your grief can become purpose if you let me guide it. Ndwele, flat. I won't let you turn my heart into fuel. Cade, pleasant. Not fuel. Leverage. He gestured. The drones split. Beams of copper light spearing the lattice. Zami's echo flickered in the threads. A soft silhouette pulsing. Zamir distorted, pained. Ndwele. She flinched forward instinctively. Cade, soft, intimate. Choose, scholar. Strengthen my harvest. Stabilize the flow, and I will spare the echo. Defy me, and I will let him thin. Some choices are daggers, not doors. No path leads out uncut. Ndwele, low, trembling with fury. You'd bargain with a soul. Cade, I bargain with reality. Your city will be stable or silent. Assist me and keep your companion. Resist and you will mourn him twice. He nodded. A drone projected metrics, city sectors graying, laughter indices falling, compliance curves rising. A tidy graph of stolen humanity. Ndwele. Voice iron. Turn it off. Cade, almost kindly. Turn yourself off, and the world becomes kinder. Give me your root keys, your dampeners, your fail-safes, and the echo persists. A romantic compromise. From the lattice, a whisper. Zamir, thin, urgent. Ndwele, don't. Please don't give him what he wants. She closed her eyes. Breath shivering. Palms flat on cold marble. Memories surged. Zamir's laugh tangling with street drums. His fingers stained with holographic ink. The taste of rain on their first kiss under the dome's night. Memory is thread, but thread can be garrote or lifeline, depending on the hand that holds it. Auntie Tandy's cane clicked in the corridor, then stopped. She stood at the threshold, orange and crimson wrappers dim beneath the dying light. Her eyes, bright with rage, stayed on Cade. Auntie Tandy, steady. Minister, I've seen men like you. They sing order and feed on quiet. Cade, polite. Elders should rest. The world is heavy. Auntie Tandy, dry. I'll rest when you stop gnawing the bones of my people. Cade's smile thinned. Cade to Ndwele. Time is currency. Pay now or pay more later. He slid a copper data signet onto the console. A serpent of code coiled within. Cade, your signature here. Permission to reroute your dampeners into the harvest. Zami remains. Azanga stabilizes. You become a hero of order. Ndwele, quiet. And if I refuse? Cade looked up at the lattice as if admiring a painting he'd already purchased. Cade. Then the echo fades. Within days, perhaps hours, the harvest will proceed regardless. You will be remembered not as hero, but a hazard. Silence pressed. The drones hummed. Zami's silhouette trembled, threads fraying at the edges. Zami, barely there. If you're weighing me against them, choose them. Ndwele, broken whisper. Don't ask me to do that. Zamir, tender, resolute. I will always ask you to be bigger than sorrow. She bit her lip, drew blood, tasted iron and truth. Love that hoards becomes prison. Love that gives becomes path. Wele lifts her chin. No. Cade blinked. Cade, no. Ndwele, clear, ringing. No to your signature. No to your theft. No to your future, made of empty faces. The drones tilted, threat in their red lenses. Cade, pleasant mask slipping. You mistake courage for leverage. He tapped the signet. The copper serpent unwound, slithering toward the console's input. Wele, swift. Tandy! Auntie's staff struck marble, crack. A ring of sound jolted the room. The lattice rippled away from the serpent's tongue. Auntie Tandy growling, not today. Safia Oru swept in, staff lit with indigo fire. Her indigo and white gown billowed, silver cornrows shining. Safia to Cade, withdraw your device. The court watches. Cade, amused. The court watches nothing. It is myth. The hall dimmed. Threads of the Anansi net darkening as if offended. Sophia, low, careful where you blaspheme. Cade gestured. The drones angled for attack. Copper filaments hissing. Dwele to Sophia. Fast. He wants my dampeners. If he folds them into harvest, he stabilizes the drain. We lose everything. Sophia calculating. Then we starve his intake. Cut feeder conduits at their off-grid farm. Ndwele, where? A voice from the doorway, raw and shaking. Mosi Daran, eyes red, yellow and blue tunic wrinkled, red sneakers scuffed to shame. Mosi, horse, I know where, because I gave them the path. Auntie's head snapped toward him, fury flaring, then grief. Auntie, Thandi, boy. Mosi, falling to his knees. I sold you all for dust. Let me fix what I broke. Cade's laugh was soft and lethal. Cade, redemption is a currency I do not accept. He flicked 2 fingers. The drones surged, copper bolts spitting. Sophia's staff swept. An indigo shield blossomed. Bolts shattered like insects against glass. Dwele lunged to the console, fingers blurring. Firewall petals unfurled across the lattice, sheltering Zamir's echo. Zamir, clearer, bolstered by her code. That's it. Weave. Ndwele, I'm with you. Ndwele through her teeth. Hold to the center. I'll pin your thread. Cade watched, eyes burning. Cade cold. Last offer, your dampeners or his dissolution. Ndwele, without looking at him, you already lost, Minister. Cade, oh, Ndwele, you made me choose, and I did. I choose the people, and they will choose each other. She slammed a final sequence. The lattice rang like a drum. A pulse rippled outward, lighting distant nodes across the city. For a heartbeat, the market of light flickered with color. A child laughed. A vendor sang one bar before the vessel clamped down again. Narrator, a spark in a storm. Small, defiant, but remembered by the sky. Cade's smile returned, thinner, crueler. Cade, you cannot win with sparks. Ndwele, quiet fire. Then I'll make a wildfire. He stepped back into shadow. Drones retracting. Cade, very well. Let love be your fuel. I will watch you burn. He vanished down the corridor, his echo lingering like smoke. Silence fell, broken only by the lattice's strained breathing. Mosi still knelt, head bowed. Mosi choked. The off-grid farm in the basalt fields beyond the river, buried under the old solar arrays. I'll take you. Auntie Tandy eyed him, then nodded once. Auntie Tandy, you will take us, and you will walk first. Safia met Ndwele's gaze, steady, proud, afraid. Safia, this path is knife thin. Ndwele, breathing steady. Then the step show. From the threads, a whisper like a vow. Zamir, I'm here. Find me in the center. Ndwele, answering, soft, always. At the edge of unraveling, she did not break. She chose the wider love, and in choosing, set the city alight with a single spark. Night gathered its teeth, but dawn had heard her name. Chapter 12. Moses' Confession. Night pressed against Azanga like a held breath. The hall of looms still rang with the echo of Cade's ultimatum, a note of iron that refused to fade. By the doorway, Mosidara knelt, shoulders shaking, palms flat to the marble as if asking the floor to forgive him. Some truths arrive like rain, others like knives. Confession is both washing and wounding, never gentle, always necessary. Auntie Tandy stood over Mosi, staff planted, orange and crimson wrappers reading like banked embers. Her eyes shone, not only with anger, but with grief. Auntie Tandy, low, tight. Look at me, boy. Mosi lifted his head. His chestnut brown skin was streaked with tears. His yellow and blue Ankara tunic was wrinkled, stained with alley dust. His red sneakers scuffed the stone as he shifted, a restless drum of shame. Mosi paused. I gave him your path, your dampeners, your backdoor dwelling. I sold it for credits and promises that evaporated as soon as he smiled. Dwele Casa didn't move. Her crimson Ankara jumpsuit caught the lattice glow, gold piping dull in the tired light. She stared at him, quiet, unbearably quiet. Ndwele, even too calm. Why? Mosi swallowed, throat clicking. Mosi, because I was tired of being the boy people pat on the head, a helper, a runner. I told myself if I had leverage, Cade would see me, elevate me. I could finally matter. I told myself I'd take just enough. Not the heart, never the heart, just the map. He laughed, a sound with no air. Mosi, but there's never just enough for men like him. From the threads above, a faint shimmer. Zama's echo brightened, a silhouette pulsing like a heartbeat trying to remember itself. Zami, soft, strained. Mosi. Mosi flinched. Shame detonating in his chest. Mosi, I didn't think he could reach you. I thought the net was a god no minister could bribe. I was wrong. Safia Oru moved into the half-light, indigo and white gown whispering across marble, staff glowing along its spiral carvings. Safia, measured, mercilessly honest. Wrong, yes, but not powerless. Speak what you know, completely, no trimming, no decoration. Mosi nodded, gulping air as if learning again how to breathe. Mosi, quick, spilling. The off-grid intake farm. It's buried under the old solar arrays beyond the basalt fields, east of the river Senwe. Underground vaults, copper ribs like a spider's thorax. They run feeder conduits from abandoned transit tunnels. 3 layers of shielding, heat dampening so scans red as dead rock. Outer gate requires a rotating glyph phrase. Middle gate responds to a biosalt key, a sweat profile case agents carry. Inner door is resonance locked. It opens to specific drum patterns captured from festivals in the market of light. He feeds on us, literally. Auntie Tandy's chin lifted, eyes flashing. Auntie Tandy, bitter awe. He steals our rhythms to make our prison. Ndwele to Mosi, clipped. Where's the kill switch? Mosi, a black node called gourd at the core. Looks like a calabash turned inside out. Smooth, wrong. One pulse from it and all feeder threads invert. It can fry the vessel or double the drain, depending on who sings to it. Safia, narrowing eyes. Sings to it, Mosi. Its voice gated to 2 timbres, cades, and something harvested from the weaving court. A trace of the weaver's harmonics, distilled. I don't know how he took it. The air thinned. Even the Anansi net seemed to draw back at the blasphemy. Safia, quiet, dangerous. He learned to counterfeit a sacred note. Samir, fading, urgent. Ndwele, if he holds that note, he holds me. Ndwele, steadying her breath. Then we cut his throat in the song. Mosi dragged a trembling hand across his face. Mosi, pleading, let me lead you there. Let me walk first. If traps bite, let them bite me. If those need a pulse, use mine. Please, don't let my betrayal end the story. Auntie Tandy studied him, long, until silence felt like a cliff. Auntie Tandy, at last. You'll walk first. And if you run, boy, run fast. Because these old legs will find you with a speed that will embarrass your gods. A crack of humor. Small, but real. Mosi almost smiled. Then it fell apart into a sob. Dwele to Safia. We need a counter pattern, something the god will accept that isn't Cade's timbre or his stolen thread. Safia, thinking aloud. The weaver spoke. The net is drum and song, played with gifts, not theft. A freely offered chorus might invert the lock. Ndwele. Community resonance, not harvested, volunteered. If the city sings together, the lattice will prefer that truth. Auntie Tandy nodding. Then we rouse them. Drums, work songs, laughter, proverbs shouted from balconies. We make a memory storm. Strategy is a kind of prayer, not to heaven, but to each other. A promise disguised as a plan. Mosey, ego, useful now. I can chart the tunnels. I've run packages through half of them since I could lie about my age. I'll mark drone nests, blind corners, fallback pockets in Dwele. And I'll craft a mesh wire patch, something to catch the city's voices and braid them clean. No harvest fingerprint, no cade echo. Safia, I will seek sanction from the court, or at least its silence. If the weaver will not aid, let them refuse to hinder. Auntie Tandy rolling her shoulders. And I will wake the market. If Cade stole our dancing, we will steal it back. A flicker from the lattice, brighter now, steadier. Zami's outline stepped closer along the threads, like a man approaching shore through waves. Zami, gentle pride. There you are! That look in your eyes, Ndwele, the one that terrifies tyrants. She almost laughed, breath catching. Ndwele, soft. Hold on, Zamir. When we crack that gourd, I want you on the other side of it. Zamir, I'll meet you in the center. Sing loudly. Mosey pushed to his feet, legs shaky but resolute. He drew a crumpled hollow map from his tunic, flaring it above the console. Lines of faint light unspooled. Tunnels, vents, dead shafts, all leading toward a dark hub labeled in his messy script. Basalt Farm. Mosey, pointing. Here, intake mufflers. Here, glyph gate. Here, resonance door. Patrol cycles every 9 minutes. Window between cycles, 48 seconds. It's tight. But if we carry silence and move like rumor, we can cross. Auntie Tandy snorts. I don't carry silence. I carry songs, but I will step quietly until it is time to shout. Safia approving. We strike at moonrise. The dome will throw fewer reflections. Drones read less stable heat. Ndwele already coding. I'll seed listening beacons in the plazas. When the call goes out, they'll weave citizens' voices into one rope. Kate's vessel won't know where to bite. For a heartbeat, the hall felt different. Less like a wound, more like a forge. Redemption does not erase harm. It gives it a task, a direction. Mosey did not become innocent, he became useful. Mosey looked to Auntie. She held his gaze. Mosey, quiet. If I fall, tell my mother I finally did something that wasn't about me. Auntie Tandy, softening. Tell her yourself. The Anansi nets breathed, gold brightening like dawn rehearsing itself. From somewhere in the city, faint, a drum tapped 3 times, another answered, then another. Safia, listening. They are waking. Ondwele, a vow under her breath. Tomorrow we cut his harvest at the roots. Zamir, a whisper threaded with light. I'll be there. Where the threads cross, where you first kissed me, under rain that wasn't rain. She smiled, eyes shining. Ndwele, then wait for me. I'm coming. Confession had cracked the night, and through that crack, resolve entered. East of the river, beneath dead arrays, a dark god waited, and love, sharpening itself into song, moved to split it open. Chapter 13. I will call it the Memory Uprising. Azanga's plazas glowed faintly under the solar dome, but the light felt pale, starved, like a sky that had forgotten its sun. The vessel of the harvest host above the market of light, draining threads from the Anansi net into its copper belly. Faces in the crowd were blank, eyes dulled, laughter missing. But silence cannot bind forever. In a land where drums are heartbeats and memory is blood, one spark is enough to summon fire. That spark began at dawn. A single drum beat cracked through the still air. Bold, defiant. Another answered. Then another. From alleyways, from balconies, from corners where the drones had not yet reached, rhythms woke. Auntie Tandy stood at the plaza's edge, staff in one hand, drum strapped across her hip. Her orange and crimson Ankara wrappers blazed like fire in the weak dawn. She struck again. Boom! Her towering head wrap swaying as she moved. Auntie Tandy yelling, "Wake Azanga! Your songs are yours, not his." The crowd stirred. Mothers hummed lullabies, voices trembling but real. Vendors stomped feet against cobblestones. Children clapped hands. A hesitant rhythm at first, then louder. Above them, drones buzzed in alarm. The vessel pulsed, trying to mute the sound. Bele Casa climbed onto a raised platform near the fountain. Her emerald Ankara gown with golden trim shimmered in the morning light. Her Hollywood curls flew loose around her shoulders. She raised her arms, voice cutting through the plaza like a blade. Ndwele, he steals our laughter because he knows laughter is stronger than his chains. He drains our songs because he feels they will tear his silence apart. Sing Azanga, Sing your names back into the net. The Anansi net above flickered. Threads trembled as thousands of voices spilled upward, unharvested, unguarded, freely given. The lattice pulsed brighter, resisting the vessel's pull. From within the threads, Zamir's echo stirred. His silhouette shone clearer, golden eyes burning. Zamir, soft, awed. They are lifting me. Every note makes me stronger. Ndwele, smiling through tears. Then we'll drown him in music. Safia Oru entered the plaza, staff raised. Her indigo and white gown swirled, silver cornrows catching the rising light. Her voice roared like thunder over the drums. Safia, citizens of Azanga, Kate would make you vessels, empty jars, but the weaver spun you as songs, wild, sacred, unrepeatable. Choose now, be echoes or be storms. The crowd roared. Drums answered. Voices fused into chorus. What began as a whisper became a wave. The market of light, once muted, thundered again. Joy erupted, not in spite of fear, but against it. Drones dove, copper beams slashing across the plaza. But the people moved together. Mothers shielding children, vendors pelting drones with glowing fruit, children banging pots in defiance. Auntie Tandy's staff cracked against the ground, sending shockwaves through the nearest machines. Auntie Tandy, snarling, you can't harvest what refuses to kneel. Mosi Daran wove through the chaos, yellow and blue tunic clinging with sweat. His red sneakers pounded cobblestones as he shouted. Mosi to the crowd, this way, this tunnel. Outrun the drones. Keep singing. He led families into side alleys, marking safe paths with chalk sigils. Each time fear clawed his chest, he stomped it down. Every saved life, one thread toward redemption. And Wales console patch flared, mesh choir notes lighting across the city. Every laugh, every drumbeat, every cry of defiance braided into the lattice. The net surged brighter, flooding against the vessel's copper veins. Above, the harvest shuddered, threads jerking violently as the system strained. Zamir, through the lattice, stronger now. Yes, keep weaving. I can feel myself gathering. Ndwele yelling to the plaza, don't stop. Every voice matters. Even a whisper feeds the fire. Children began chanting proverbs. Elders recited ancestral names. Vendors sang their sales pitches as though each word was a hymn. Together, They built a storm. The drones faltered, sensors overloaded by the rising resonance. Several crashed to the ground, sparks bursting like dying fireflies. The harvest fed on silence, but silence was gone. Azanga had remembered itself. From the council tower, Cade watched, copper robes catching firelight, jaw tight. He gripped the railing, eyes narrowing. Cade, to himself, cold. Let them sing. I will hollow their songs until nothing remains but ash. In the plaza, Auntie Tandy raised both arms, her voice fierce. Auntie Tandy, this is only the beginning. Tonight, we cut his gourd wide open. The crowd roared, drums pounding harder, voices weaving into one unstoppable current. Ndwele to Zamir quietly. Do you hear them? They're fighting for you too. Zamir, soft, filled with awe. No, Nwele, they're fighting for themselves. That's how we win. The memory uprising had begun. A chorus against a tyrant, a storm against a vessel. And in the clash of silence and song, the heart of Azenga beat louder than ever before. Chapter 14. The Merge, I call it. The basalt fields east of the river Senwe glowed faintly beneath the dome's false dawn. Dead solar arrays jutted like broken teeth, blackened panels reflecting nothing, and beneath them, the heart of the harvest beated. The gourd lay buried in silence, a hollow calabash turned inside out, feeding on the threads of a city. Tonight, silence will be broken. Pause 0.6 seconds. Niwele Kasa led the way. Her white and gold Ankara ritual gown shimmering faintly in the cold glow. Her Hollywood curls were braided into a crown, bronze skin shining with resolve. She carried a portable console, patched with her mesh choir nodes humming softly. Beside her, Mosi Daran trudged first, as promised. His yellow and blue tunic clung with sweat. His red sneakers scraped against basalt dust, but he did not falter. Shame pressed his shoulders low, but purpose kept his feet moving. Behind them came Safia Orud, staff glowing indigo fire, her indigo and white gown trailing like tidewater, and Auntie Tandy, wrappers blazing, head wrap towering, staff ready. Her muttered prayers were half jokes, half war songs. The tunnels opened, copper ribs arched overhead, pulsating with stolen resonance. The deeper they walked, the louder the hum, like a monstrous heartbeat. At last, the chamber. The gourd node floated at the center, a massive sphere of inverted calabash design, smooth and wrung. Copper threads ran from it into the basalt walls, glowing faintly as it siphoned the city's emotions upward. The air vibrated with the sound of muffled cries, laughter muted, joy imprisoned, grief twisted.
No chain can break us, no storm can hide. Your hand in mine, we're side by
Dwele whispering, "There it is." Safia, green, the stolen throat of Azanga. Moses swallowed, stepping aside, pointing with a trembling hand. Mosi, outer shields drop in cycles, 9 minutes apart. The resonance gate, it responds only to his timbre or the weaver's stolen note. Dwele, steady, firm. Then we drown it in our own song. She activated the mesh choir patch all across the city. Listening nodes lit. Voices poured in, mothers singing lullabies, children chanting proverbs, drummers pounding market rhythms, elders reciting ancestral names. The cavern filled with sound. Defiant, alive. The gourd pulsed violently, copper skin rippling as it resisted. From the lattice, Zami's echo stepped closer, brighter than ever. His white and gold senator suit shimmered, his form nearly whole. He reached for Ndwele, his fingers trembling with golden static. Zamir awed, voice breaking. "You call them, all of them. Their voices lift me." Ndwele, tears glistening, fierce. "I told you I'd bring you back, not as an echo, whole." The gourd shrieked, a sound like grinding glass. Copper drones swarmed from the tunnels, red eyes blazing. Auntie Tandy swinging her staff. "Come then, let's dance!" She cracked drones to the floor, wrappers swirling like fire. Safia raised her staff, indigo shields flaring, deflecting copper blasts. Mosi dove low, hacking a drone with a crystal blade pulled from his tunic. The chamber became storm, drum against drone, song against silence, love against theft. Ndwele planted her console near the gourd, fingers flying. She wove citizen voices into patterns, braiding joy with grief, laughter with sorrow, love with memory. The gourd resisted, pulsing copper waves to drown her rhythm. Zami, urgent, stepping closer. "Let me in. Merge me with this song. I can strike from inside." Ndwele, shaking her head. "No, it could shred you." Zami, fierce. "Then let it." Better to burn fighting than fade in silence. She froze, torn, but his eyes, golden, steady, held hers. Ndwele, soft, surrendering, always together. She coded one final sequence, binding her console's core to his echo. Ndwele, whispering, merge. The threads blazed. Zame's form fused with the lattice, voice joining the city storm. The cavern shook, walls trembling as the god writhed. Zame shouting through the weave. Azanga, sing louder. The people responded, their chorus rising to fever pitch. The god cracked, copper skin splitting, golden light spilling. Cade's voice thundered through hidden speakers. Cade, furious, "No, you cannot steal order from me." Ndwele, screaming back, "We don't steal, we give, and giving is stronger than your chains." The god shattered. Light flooded the chamber. Joy, grief, love, sorrow, rushing free. The vessel above the city flickered violently, its copper veins busting as the net rejected its theft. Zame's form stabilized, threads weaving flesh and spirit, digital and human, until he stood whole beside Ndwele. He touched her cheek, warm, real. Zamir, whispering, "You kept your promise." She laughed through tears, gripping his hand. Ndwele, soft, fierce, "And you kept waiting." The merge was complete, not theft, not imprisonment, but love woven into gift. A chorus had undone a tyrant's silence, and Azanga, for the first time in weeks, sang freely again. Chapter 15, the epilogue, which I call After the Harvest. Dawn returned to Azanga with a voice. It threaded through the solar dome like warm honey, cooling in streets, seeping into courtyards, lifting the corners of tired mouths into real smiles. Where silence had sat like stone, song now moved like water. The god was broken. The vessel above the city lay dark, its copper veins slack. And for the first time since the harvest began, Azanga remembered how to be alive. In the market of light, stalls blossomed with color. Holographic fabrics fluttered like birds. Spices whirled in laughing spirals. Children chased drones that had been retuned to play games, not to gather tears. Auntie Thandi arranged bowls on a long table. a feast sprawling wider than sense, richer than reason. Her orange and crimson Ankara wrappers blazed against the morning glow. Her towering head wrap wore a sprig of basil like a crown. She banged her carved staff on the cobbles. Auntie Tandy booming. If you're breathing, you're eating. If you're eating, you're dancing. If you're dancing, you're alive. Move. Laughter exploded. The kind that shakes shoulders and loosens grief from ribs. Nwele Kasa and Zamir Kato stepped into the plaza hand in hand. She wore a turquoise and gold Ankara wrap dress that caught the sun in glints. Her Hollywood curls flowed free again. He wore a matching Ankara senator set. Teal deep as river water, gold bright as fresh mango, his afro trimmed and proud, a string of beads at his wrist. A cheer went up, spontaneous, grateful, a chorus of "eh, hey" that bounced off the dome like birds on a warm updraft. Vendors whistled, children squealed, elders nodded. The particular nod reserved for miracles disguised as persistence. Zame leaning close, smiling. Do you hear that? The city is flirting with us. Ndwele, teasing. It has good taste. Safia Oru approached, staff at her side, indigo and white gown soft as tide water. Her silver grey cornrows gleamed. Her face held the tired satisfaction of a surgeon after a long night that ended in heartbeat. Safia, warm, formal. The court has spoken, not in words, but in silence. That means we have permission to build, not to rule. A council of custodians will steward the Anansi net. Many hands, many voices, no single throat for a tyrant to seize. Ndwele, bowing slightly. Many locks, many keys. Safia, nodding. And they rule. Emotion can only be amplified by consent, never harvested. Every chorus must be a gift. From a balcony, a handful of city scribes unfurled a banner. Digital hearts, African soul. Paint still wet. Letters uneven. Perfect. Narrator. Soft. A nation names itself with each generation. Today, Azanga chose its name again. At the feast table, Mosi Daran carried trays like a man making payments on a debt. His yellow and blue tunic had been hastily mended. His red sneakers were clean, laces new. He moved with a gentleness that drew little attention, exactly as he wished. But Auntie Tandy gave him none of that mercy. Auntie Tandy calling across the table. Mosi, come here and let me see your face when you're not skulking. He obeyed, throat bobbing. Auntie Tandy measured. Did you betray us? Mosi, steady. Yes, Auntie Tandy. Did you help fix it? Mosi. Yes. Auntie Tandy, leaning in. Is your shame useful or is it decoration? Mosi blinked, then smiled, small and tired. Mosi, useful. I intend to spend it like money until it's gone. Auntie's mouth twitched. Fighting a smile, she let loose on purpose. Auntie Tandy. Good. Now take this platter to the elders, carry the drums for the children, and if you even think of running, I will personally outrun you in public. Laughter rippled. Mosi bowed and got to work. Across the plaza, a small stage blinked awake. It wasn't there yesterday. Today, it thrummed. A platform for what happens after survival. Play. Zamir, eyes bright. May I? Ndwele, grinning. Only if you're brave. He stepped up, raised his hands, and the mesh choir notes listened. His voice flowed out. Not a harvest, not a command. A gift offered back. Zamir, spoken word musical. Azanga. We fell into a quiet that called itself safety. It was colder than truth, smoother than a lie. But our grandmothers taught us a drum without skin is a bowl, and a bowl without food is a shame. So we stretched our stories across the frame of each other and struck until the city remembered its own name. The plaza answered with delighted hollers. A child on someone's shoulders shouted, "Say it again." Zamir laughing. Later. My stomach is louder than my metaphors. Ndwell took the stage next. No device in her hand, no console. Just a woman whose stubbornness had outlived despair. Dwele, clear. The net will change with us. We will keep it wild enough for wonder and woven enough for care. If you want your story held, give it. If you want it private, keep it. We are not jars. We are rivers. We decide the banks. Applause rolled over her. Relieved, fierce, unanimous. Safia aside to Ndwele. The court approves. Ndwele smiling. Good. But the people at the court I worry about. Toward the edge of the crowd, a shimmer bloomed. Threads of gold twisted above the cobbles. Gathering, breathing. And then the weaver stood there, tall, barefoot, and starlit. Their violet emerald gold Ankara robe flowed like night wind. Their silver white braids floated, weightless. The crowd hushed, not in fear, but in reverence. The weaver, voice like a cord. You remember the rule. Play with gifts, not theft. Ndwele bowing her head. We learned the hard way. The weaver, eyes soft. The hard way is the way that stays. They glanced at Zamir, golden threads flickering in his eyes. Your stitch holds Zamir hand to heart because she wove it. The weaver, because you both did. They lifted their palm. A small golden spider charm coalesced, delicate, humming, and fell into Ndwele's hand. The weaver, gentle. Keep this near the consoles. When power forgets who it serves, this will remind it. In a blink of braided light, they were gone, leaving laughter in their wake, like a bell was still ringing after the singer bows. A band struck a playful rhythm. Auntie Tandy clapped loud enough to startle the pigeons. Auntie Tandy commanding, dancing. Crowds parted, space opened. Ndwele and Zamir moved together, unsure for 2 beats, then certain for the rest. They flowed on the cobbles like script, like calligraphy, like a code written by bodies that remembered joy before they understood words. Zamir whispering as they turn, "Does it feel like before?" Ndwele smiling into his shoulder. Better. Before, we hadn't proved it. Mosi passed carrying 3 bowls. He barely paused, but he bowed mid-stride, grinning, and almost didn't spill. Children shrieked with successful mischief. Elders performed insults so elegant they sounded like blessings. Vendors offered second helpings to anyone who looked in danger of recovering too fast. Trauma left fingerprints, yes, but they smudged under the heat of a city that refused to be only what was done to it. As the sun climbed the dome, color fattened. Murals along the walls animated. Ancestral figures winking as if in on the joke. The Anansinet above glowed not as cage but as canopy, threads slack enough to dance, taut enough to hold. Safia to the gathered custodians. First edict, plurality of keys. Second, consent chorus. Third, public ledger of changes. Fourth, emergency sever that requires the people to shout. Ascribe each rule with flourishes that looked suspiciously like joy. As afternoon sweetened, Auntie Tandy lurched onto a stool and announced, "I am officially tired, but not quiet." The crowd roared approval. Someone crowned her with a ring of neon plastic flowers. She accepted them as if they were diamonds mined from thunder. Auntie Tandy, soft to Ndwele as she passes. "You did well, child. Your mother is laughing in the good place." Ndwele, eyes bright. "Come eat, Auntie. The stew won't scold you for burning it." "Ah, I will scold it first," Auntie replied and waddled toward the table triumphant. Evening settled like silk. Lanterns blinked on. A constellation at street level. Ndwele and Zamir stood at the plaza's edge. watching the city run on laughter again. Zamir, quiet. What now? Ndwele, thoughtful. Now we stay curious. We keep the net honest. We let it surprise us, but never own us. She held up the spider charm. It hummed against her palm. And we listen when the drum says enough. He kissed her forehead, gentle as a promise. Zamir, then lead, and I'll write the soundtrack. Ndewele, grinning. Try to keep up. So the loom was tended, not by perfect hands, but by present ones. Digital hearts still beating, African souls still singing, and whenever the web began to forget, the city laughed until it remembered. The story begins not in silence but in rhythm. The city of Azanga was never still. Beneath its glass solar domes, the hum of machines blended with the cadence of drums, while marketer drones floated through the air like lanternfish in a river of light. Ancestral murals lit up along the curved walls of the plazas, their patterns shifting as if alive, telling stories in glowing threads. Narrator: Azanga was no ordinary nation. Hidden from the eyes of the outside world, it thrived on a covenant of past and future. Its greatest treasure was not gold or land, but the lattice called the Anansis net, a woven network of light, memory, and spirit. To the scholars, it was technology beyond measure. To the griots, it was a drum echoing the voices of the departed. And to the people, it was the living soul of Azanga itself. In the research atrium of the Hall of Looms, Nwele Kasa bent over a holographic console. Her flowing black hair, styled in Hollywood curls, cascaded around her shoulders as she traced her fingers across strands of glowing light. Her deep brown skin shimmered under the radiance of hanging lanterns shaped like spider cocoons. Her outfit, a fitted Ankara jumpsuit of midnight blue and gold with asymmetrical tailoring, hugged her frame with authority. Gold-threaded patterns pulsed faintly, as if the cloth itself was alive. Beside her stood Zamir Kato, tall, with a stylish afro, short sides, long curly top. His medium brown skin caught the glow, while his senator-style teal and gold Ankara suit shifted with lattice-like geometric patterns. His beaded bracelets clicked together as he leaned casually on the console, his lips curling into a smile. Zamir, grinning, you listen to the net like an engineer in Dwele. All numbers, no heart. But if you lean closer, you hear it differently. You hear a song, a poem, maybe even a love note. Ndwele, arch brow, smirking. Is that your excuse for buggy code again? Blame it on poetry? Zamir, mock wounded. You wound me. This isn't about bugs, it's about destiny. Perhaps the ancestors hid secrets in these threads. Perhaps they hid you, waiting for me to find. Dwell shook her head, hiding a smile. She tapped the holographic strand, sending ripples across the network. Narrator: between them lay tension like fireflies in a jar, sparks of wit, of rivalry, of something unspoken. She trusted in science, he believed in rhythm, and between logic and chance, love often hides. The chamber doors hissed open. Dr. Safia Oru, silver gray cornrows woven tightly into her crown, entered with slow authority. Her indigo and white anchor respect the weave. Zamir bowed dramatically, one hand on his heart, eyes gleaming with mischief. Zamir, teasing. Then perhaps the ancestors enjoy my verses. Even wisdom deserves a dance. Safia, stern but softening. Perhaps. But a careless dance tangles the loom. Remember, once torn, threads may never mend. Before Ndwele could respond, a voice boomed from above the gallery, rich with humor and unfiltered honesty. Auntie Tandy, Ndwele, stop letting that poet distract you. A woman with brains like yours shouldn't waste them entertaining smooth talkers with shiny hair. The research hall rippled with laughter. Auntie Tandy descended the stairwell, wrapped in Ankara cloth as vibrant as the sun, flames of orange, turquoise, and crimson, her towering head wrap brushing against the lantern light. Her ebony skin gleamed with vitality, her wide smile framed by laugh lines carved deep by years of joy. She clutched her carved wooden staff, tapping it on the floor for emphasis. Auntie Tandy, mock whisper. And ancestors help us if they're hiding recipes in that net. Because if they've hidden the secret to plantain that doesn't burn, it will save us all from Zamir's cooking disasters. Zamir, hands raised in surrender. Ah, betrayal. It was the oil that betrayed me, not my culinary genius. The room erupted again, even Safia hiding a reluctant smile. For a moment, the Hall of Looms was filled with warmth, science, spirit, and laughter woven as one. Yet just as the joy reached its peak, the console flickered. The lattice strands glowed brighter, pulsing in a rhythm none of them had programmed. A low hum echoed through the chamber, like a heartbeat beneath the floor. Wele froze. Wele, quiet, tense. That wasn't me. Zamir's grin faltered. He leaned in, eyes narrowing at the console. Zamir whispering, "It's live." Safia, sharp, alarmed. No, not alive. Something else. The glow intensified, strands weaving themselves without command. For an instant, a shape appeared in the lattice, half seen, half felt, a face of light and shadow, gone before anyone could breathe. Narrator, low, suspenseful. And so it began. In the heart of Azanga, where memory and machine were one, a new thread started, a heartbeat woven into the lattice, a presence waiting in silence, a whisper that would unravel love, betrayal, and destiny itself. Chapter 2, called The Market of Light. Morning poured into Azanga through the great solar dome. Light fractured into mosaics of amber, sapphire, and emerald. The streets pulsed alive with color and rhythm. This was the market of light, the heart of the city, the place where trade was sung and laughter was currency. Here, stalls were not stalls, but stages. Every vendor a performer, every buyer a partner in dance. The market was not where Azanga came to buy, it was where Azanga came to remember itself. Ndwele Kasa walked through the plaza, her Hollywood curls bouncing as she moved, her deep brown skin glowing in the morning light. She wore a yellow Ankara wrap dress patterned with indigo spirals, paired with bronze sandals that tapped to the drum beat rising from the street. Everywhere she turned, voices called her name. Bendo, singing playfully. Casa, scholar of the looms, buy a mango, get the proverb free. The crowd laughed. Ndwele smiled, shaking her head as she moved along. From behind a column, a familiar voice rang out. Zamir Kato leaned casually against the stall, his medium brown skin glowing in the sun. His afro, short at the sides, curly and long at the top, framed his face. He wore a teal Ankara tunic trimmed in gold, paired with dark sandals. A rolled scroll of poetry peeked from his sleeve. Zamir, grinning, scholar Casa. Here, I thought equations had stolen you away from the real world. Ndwele, arching brow. Equations are the real world, Zamir. Without them, your poems would collapse like rotten fruit. Zamir, mock gasp. Rotten fruit? My verses? Madam, they are silk, they are flame, they are... He snatched a glowing mango from a stall, pressing it to his heart. Zamir, dramatic. Juicier than this. Mango. The vendor rolled his eyes. The crowd burst into laughter. Nwele, suppressing a smile. Juicier perhaps, but twice as messy. They walked together, weaving through stalls heavy with holographic fabrics, bowls of spices that shimmered like constellations, drums carved with glowing glyphs. Children ran past, laughing, tossing a ball of woven light between them. The air smelled of roasted maize and hot oil. Azanga was never quiet. It hummed like a hive. It sang like an ancestor drunk on joy. The market was its loudest hymn. Zamir bent close, lowering his voice. Zamir, serious now. But tell me, why does the net hum louder these days? Poets hear things first, you know. The rhythm has changed. Dwell stiffened, eyes narrowing. Really quiet, wary. You hear it too, Zamir nodding. It's not just background, it's heartbeat, it's restless. Before Ndwele could reply, a hand seized her wrist. Auntie Thandi stood there, her orange and crimson Ankara wrappers tied high, her towering head wrap leaning dangerously to one side. Her ebony skin glowed in the sun, her staff tapped sharply on the cobbles. Auntie Thandi mock scolding. You two whispering like thieves in the market. If you're planning mischief, at least buy me lunch first. The crowd howled with laughter. Ndwele flushed. Zamir bowed deeply, ever the showman. Zamir teasing. Auntie Thandi, mischief is free today. But if you want romance, That will cost extra. She smacked his shoulder with her staff, not gently. He yelped. The crowd roared. But beneath the humor, truth pulsed. The market of light shone brighter that morning, but shadows moved beneath its songs. A storm whispered in the threads, faint, insistent, inevitable. The three of them stopped before a stall selling holographic textiles, patterns shifting like rivers of color. Ndwele ran her hand across a fabric that flickered with constellations. Ndwele, low, almost to herself. Every strand carries memory. And something is tugging too hard. Zamir, gentle, serious now. Then tug back. Their eyes met, steady, unflinching, and for a heartbeat, the market fell away. Auntie Thandi interrupted, grinning like a trickster. Auntie Thandi, if you two start staring at each other again, I'll sell tickets. Azanga loves a good drama. They both broke into laughter. Awkward, warm, unwilling to admit how true it was. The market of light carried their laughter that morning, but also their unspoken vows. For in Azanga, joy and danger never walked far apart, and soon the hum of the net would demand more than smiles. Now on to chapter 3. Threads in the river. The sun slipped lower in Azanga's sky, painting it in swirls of violet, copper, and pale green light refracted through the solar dome. Beyond the bustle of the market of light, the city softened into silence. Here flowed the river Senwe, broad, calm, and shimmering like liquid glass. On its surface, golden ripples mirrored the lattice of the Anansi net above. From a distance, it looked as if the river itself carried constellations, each current bending like a strand of spider silk spun across the heavens. Narrator: the river Senwe was no ordinary waterway. It was both mirror and memory. The griot said its currents carried echoes of voices long gone, whispers of the ancestors who first wove the net. Ndwele Kasa walked the river bank, her Hollywood curls stirring gently in the breeze. She wore a flowing Ankara gown of ocean blue with golden spiral trim, hem brushing against her bronze sandals. Her deep brown skin gleamed in the fading light. She paused often, eyes on the water, searching for patterns. Behind her, Dr. Safia Oru approached, her indigo and white Ankara gown with spiral motifs swayed at her ankles, staff tapping the soil with steady rhythm. Her silver-gray cornrows gleamed in the twilight. Safia measured, voice low. You felt it again, didn't you? That rhythm in the net. Nwele nodding. Yes, last night it pulsed through the console like a heartbeat, and here, by the river, it hums beneath the current. They stopped side by side, gazing at the glowing reflection of Anansi net overhead. Safia, stern. Do not mistake curiosity for permission, child. The net is sacred. Every echo touches memory. Every thread you tug tightens another. Ndwele, firm but respectful. Then let me learn which threads are safe. Knowledge is no enemy, Safia. Ignorance is. The older woman's lips pressed thin, but her eyes softened with reluctant pride. From behind, laughter rang, carried by the wind. Samia Kato emerged from the trees, a basket of glowing fruit in his arms. His teal and gold Ankara tunic shimmered, fractal patterns catching the river light. His afro, short at the sides and long and curly at the top, swayed as he walked with casual swagger. Zamir, grinning. Scholars by the river. This looks less like research and more like romance. Ndwele spun around sharply, lips pursed, though her eyes betrayed amusement. Ndwele, dry. Do you appear everywhere uninvited? Zame, mock gasp. Uninvited? I brought gifts. Even the ancestors respect fruit before philosophy. He tossed her one of the glowing fruits. She caught it, their fingers brushing for a heartbeat. The contact sent a small jolt through her chest. Narrator. For them, even casual touch carried weight. He was poetry, she was precision. Yet in their meeting, rhythm and reason found harmony. Safia cleared her throat, deliberately loud. Safia, firm. Enough! The net grows restless. Cade watches more closely each day, and every careless step draws his eye. Zamir bowed theatrically. Zamir teasing. As always, the wise one arrives to scold the dreamers. Tell me, Safia, do you ever laugh? Safia, arching brow. I laugh when fools survive their experiments. Ndwele stifled a laugh, hiding it behind the glowing fruit she held. The three stood together at the water's edge. The river Senwe gleamed brighter, light weaving across its surface like threads alive. And then it shifted. Golden ripples formed deliberate shapes, circles within circles, intersecting lines like a web spun across water. The current throbbed faintly, not random, but rhythmic. A pulse, a heartbeat. Ndwele inhaled sharply, Ndwele whispering, "There. Do you see it?" Zamir, awed. Yes, it sings. Safia, alarmed. No, not song. Warning. The patterns held for several breaths, then vanished, leaving only moonlit water behind. The three exchanged uneasy glances. Silence heavy between them. The river had revealed what it carried. A signal, faint yet deliberate. A soul adrift in the lattice. A presence neither living nor gone. The threads had stirred, and with them fate itself. We are now at Chapter 4. The Accident. The hall of looms shimmered in half-light. Golden threads of the Anansi net arched high above, glowing faintly like constellations. The chamber was usually calm, its lattice steady, predictable, but tonight it thrummed like a restless drum. Nabwele Casa adjusted her console, her Hollywood curls brushing her cheeks as she leaned forward. Her deep brown skin glowed in the lantern light. She wore a dark purple Ankara jumpsuit with golden trim, fitted for movement, paired with polished silver heels. Her eyes tracked the shifting lines of data, brows knit in concentration. Beside her, Zamir Kato paced. His teal and silver Ankara suit reflected the lattice glow. The afro with curly top swayed with his steps, his bracelets clicking together nervously. Samir, uneasy. It feels different tonight. Listen, the hum isn't just background. It's alive, real, firm. It's just an overload spike. I'll stabilize it. She pressed her palm against the console. The lattice strands above rippled, golden waves surging outward. But instead of calming, the glow intensified, bleeding crimson along the edges. The air grew hotter. The console vibrated beneath her hand. Zamir, alarmed, Ndwele, stop! It's pulling too much power. Ndwele focused. If I stop now, it will collapse. The hum rose into a roar. Threads snapped, sparks showering the marble floor. Golden light twisted violently as though the web itself resisted her touch. Zamir stepped forward, grabbing the console's edge. Zamir shouting, "Shut it down!" Ndwele, desperate, "I can't! It won't release." The lattice above convulsed. A strand shot downward, latching onto Zamir's chest like molten silk. His body arched, glowing veins racing across his skin. He gasped, eyes wide, caught between agony and wonder. Ndwele, screaming, "Zamir!" She lunged, grasping his arm, but his flesh flickered, dissolving into streams of amber code that bled into the air. For an instant, his face stabilized. Zamir, hoarse, whispering, "Remember me," in the threads. Then his body collapsed, motionless, The lattice continued to flare, strands glowing with the imprint of his soul. A faint echo, laughter mixed with static, pulsed through the chamber. Narrator, solemn. The accident was no accident. It was a taking. His flesh lay still, but his spirit was drawn into the weave. A heart, digitized yet unbroken. A soul caught between worlds. Alarms blared. Doors burst open. Dr. Safia Oru rushed in, staff glowing, as she struck the floor to stabilize the lattice. Her indigo and white Ankara gown swirled around her feet. Her silver-gray cornrows gleamed under the violent light. Safia, urgent. What happened? Ndwele, choking out. The net! It pulled him in. Safia knelt by Zami's body, checking pulse, checking breath. Her face fell. Safia, grave, whispering. His body is here, but his soul is elsewhere. Auntie Tandy stormed in next, a orange and crimson Ankara wrappers blazing in the chaos. Her towering head wrap tilted as she leaned on her carved staff. Her eyes widened at the sight of Zami's limp form. Auntie Tandy crying out, "No, not that boy." She dropped to her knees, gripping his hand, tears spilling freely. Dwele, desperate, voice breaking. "He's not gone. I felt him in the net." He spoke. He looked at me. He's still there. Safia's eyes flickered with doubt, then with fear. Safia, stern, voice low. If that is true, then it is dangerous beyond measure. To be trapped in the lattice is to be neither alive nor dead. The hall fell into silence. The only sound was the faint, steady hum of the Anansi net, as though mocking them. The accident had changed everything. The net had taken what it wanted, and in doing so, it had bound two souls together in ways no law, no science, and no counsel could ever undo.
We are now at Chapter 5, Love, Fulfilled. The Hall of Looms was no longer alive with curiosity. It was heavy with silence. Golden threads still arched above like constellations, but their glow had dimmed since that night. Every flicker felt like mockery. Every hum, a reminder of what had been taken. Grief in Azanga did not always come as tears. Sometimes it came as vigil, as refusal, as a soul unwilling to move, because moving meant letting go. Ndwele Kasa had not left the hall for days. Her Hollywood curls hung loose, tangled from neglect. Her deep brown skin was drawn with sleepless lines. She wore a dark purple Ankara wrap dress, once radiant, now wrinkled, golden embroidery dulled like ash. Her bronze bangles slid down her wrist as she slumped over the console, eyes red but unbroken. She tapped endlessly at the glowing threads, rerunning logs